Well, after weeks of tense and often emotional testimony from witnesses, the fate of Derek Chauvin is now in the hands of the jury. The former Minneapolis police officer is accused of killing George Floyd in May of last year after he knelt on the 46-year-old man's neck for nearly 10 minutes during his arrest. Both sides delivered their closing arguments yesterday. Prosecutors say that Chauvin violated his oath as a police officer, but the defense argued Chauvin was following police protocol and said there was no evidence that he, quote, intentionally applied unlawful force. So Imran Ansari is with us now to provide some legal insight. He's a criminal defense attorney and a former prosecutor. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Before we get into your take on the closing arguments, I want to ask you about something else. Earlier in the show, we spoke about comments made by Congresswoman Maxine Waters, where she was essentially saying, if we don't get a guilty verdict in this case, people need to stay in the streets, people need to get more confrontational. The defense brought this up as a possible grounds for mistrial. The judge said, I don't know, maybe it's something to consider for an appeal later on. But what's your take on the impact that these comments could or could not have on this case?
So this was a highly publicized trial, one of the most highly publicized trials that we've had in recent history. And a large concern during the course of this trial, from the moment that jury selection started through closing arguments, was the effect that all this public perception, all this public coverage and media coverage had on the jurors. And was there a potential that it could somehow taint this trial and taint the jury? Representative Waters made some comments, and particularly what is most troubling is the comment that she's looking for a guilty verdict. And you saw Judge Cahill express his concern, express his displeasure with this comment, because there's a fear that this comment could somehow impact the jury. He also stated that there needs to be the separation, right? There has to be the respect between the legislature, the branches of government, legislature versus judiciary. And I think that there is a concern, and it's a valid concern, that these comments, especially looking for the jury to render a particular verdict, could be concerning on the impact of the jury. And it could be grounds for an appeal down the line. There's a few things that happened during this trial that may be appellate issues down the line. And this is just another one that you can chalk up as a possible appellate issue later.
So let's talk about these closing arguments. We'll start with the defense. Attorney Eric Nelson told the jury to look at the totality of the events leading up to George Floyd's death. And he really sort of pointed out, Floyd's struggle with police officers when they tried to get him into the back of the police car. He said that he was feeling claustrophobic, and really they couldn't get him in. And there were a number of officers working together to get him in. It was also a really long closing arguments. So I want to kind of get your take on some of his hits and misses, because I found myself, as I was listening, thinking, oh, that's, an interesting point that he brought up, and that's an interesting point that he brought up, and also thinking, I don't really recall these points coming up, while the defense witnesses were testifying all that much. It seemed much clearer in the closing arguments, but also the closing arguments went on forever.
Yeah, these were marathon closing arguments, and you have to be careful as an attorney with your closing arguments not to lose the jury's attention. You always want to keep the jury's attention during closing arguments. And Eric Nelson really gave it the kitchen sink approach. And I see why, because he's really has an uphill battle here. The prosecution brought an A game. They had witnesses corroborating their theory of the case. It all goes back pointing to that the cause of death here was unreasonable force by Derek Chauvin. The causation wasn't drugs in the system, wasn't pre-existing medical conditions. It was the actions of Derek Chauvin. So Eric Nelson, dealing with what he had, which is a strong prosecution case, really had to bring the kitchen sink. You have to do that carefully, because you don't want to bring arguments as an attorney that may seem a little disingenuous to the jury. And if you didn't have it as evidence during the case, meaning testimony through your witnesses or other evidence, then you're going to be really pointed. That's going to be pointed out on rebuttal. And we saw this. We saw Blackwell come before that jury with the rebuttal argument for the prosecution, and he sort of methodically picked apart Eric Nelson's arguments to say why that's not the case and why the jury should see what the evidence was in pro-prosecution in favor of the prosecution's case. So Eric Nelson with the uphill battle, he really kitchen sinked the argument. And you have that danger when you have a marathon closing argument like that the jury is going to check out. Although in this case, with the stakes this high, I would imagine that the jury was listening to every word.
So you talk about it being an uphill battle for the defense. You know, it's often said that all they have to do is convince one juror that there's reasonable doubt, and it's a win for them. For the prosecution, they have to convince all of the jurors. So, you know, what is your take on how the prosecution did? Do you think they presented a successful case?
In my opinion, I think the prosecution did present a successful case. They put forth the video, and, you know, the prosecution, during their closing arguments, basically appealed to the visceral reaction of that jury. They said, believe your eyes. And they go back to that video, which has really shocked the nation, and basically appealed to their common sense. They said, look at the video. This is the best evidence. Believe your eyes. Then they had the litany of medical evidence that supported their case. It supports the causation aspect of things. The defense, they tried to bring their expert in, but I think it fell flat. It didn't quite bring it home. But again, as you say, the defense really just needs to create enough reasonable doubt to get a juror, just one juror, to hold out and not return a guilty verdict. And then they have a hung jury. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that Derek Chauvin is acquitted. It means that they have to go back to step one. The prosecution is going to have to go back, bring all their witnesses again for a new trial, retry the case, and see how the jury renders a verdict after that. So what happens now? Well, the jury is out. The jury has its case. I think because the importance of this case, the amount of publicity in this case, which the jury knows, they're going to have to look at the evidence here, and I expect that they're going to take their time, evaluate the evidence before they render a verdict. I don't think it's going to be one of those situations where we have the jury coming back with a verdict in quick time, and we're all going to be waiting to see what happens here.
Yeah, well, Imran, I have to let you go. You mentioned that there may be grounds for appeal if there is a conviction. Maybe that's a conversation we can have after that. Imran, thank you very much.
Thank you.